you know, real change in the microcosm or the macrocosm, both. It requires real work and real effort. You know, that we're hitting a wall now in the human experience where we can't wish it away. We can't hope it away. We can't show up on Sunday and get it away. We can't sit down to one documentary on Netflix and think that's going to get it away. Like it requires heavy lifting,
work, yeah,
inwardly and outwardly. We're paying the karmic debt for our ignorance collectively. And I contest that wherever we're going, mankind, it's taking no karma with it from the dark side or the light side. Either way, it's not taking any karma with it. So on the dark side, they put truth in plain sight everywhere. Okay. So your TV shows and your movies, they constantly show you truth in plain sight. If you're new to the,
don't you see this? Don't you see it? It's right there.
Like now I joke and I'm like, they're trying to wake us up. It's like so obvious. It's like to the point where they're like, okay, here you go. We're going to write this down. This is truth in plain sight. We used to just do undue consent. Now we're literally telling you. It's so funny, but it's they're on the side where they're doing it for, and not to get into a real deep discussion with it, but the truth in plain sight is for karma release. So in Magicraft, white or black, you have to have consent for everything you do. And so if they put something in a TV show, and you're not aware,
acquiescence.
They're not going to tell you, hey, this is why we're doing this. But if you're not smart enough to figure it out, that's on you.
So
they're getting they're getting your undue consent.
Yeah.
Now, on our side, our karmic release is all the things that have weighed us down, all these unconscious things that we've carried. Our Babylon, metaphorically, if you will, that we're carrying around has to come off in order to see through it. So either side is having to lose its, one's doing it intentionally with manipulation, and the other has to do it righteously. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like basically healing our ancestral energies and making sure that we don't continue this generational curse, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. And growing or raising consciousness requires work. That it's still like meditation, which I don't, if there's one thing, folks, that you want to, you have to pick up is meditation. And it can't be Saturday morning when everyone's gone and work's out of my view and I just got back from yoga and wait for the perfect time. It has to become
it's
daily.
Like brushing your teeth. It's like you don't get up and go, I don't have time to brush my teeth. You find the time to brush your teeth. You find the time to do whatever it is, that take a shower. So I mean, a lot of times start in the shower, start with just closing your eyes in the shower and just 30 seconds or a minute.
We spend so much unconscious time. To say that we don't have time to meditate is buffoonery. I mean, it's
excuses, but sometimes it's because we think that, like, I've come across a lot of people that just don't understand meditation and don't understand if they feel like they're not doing it right, and so it just becomes very complicated, and just it's easier to say I don't have time than it is for
that's a good
to actually do it.
Very good observation. I think yes. More times than not, people think meditation is thinking or like deep reflection or deep thinking
or not thinking, like the whole take no thought, like they want to get to that point, but because they're overwhelmed with thoughts, they're like, I'm not doing it right. And it's like, it's all right. All of it is right.
Yeah, your first epiphany is when you close your eyes and you realize you have a lot of thought. Okay, you're aware you think. There you go. There's step one.
Now who's
There's
thinking?
there's epiphany number one. I have a lot of thought. I think a lot because I've helped people with it. And I'm like, now tell me what the when you sit down and you close your eyes and you do you practice meditation for the first time, let me know what you think. And like, man, my mind is busy. Okay, that's a good thing. That actually is one brick in the wall of awareness.
Yeah.
One brick in the wall of awareness that I have a busy brain, and so not to be scared of that, not to be like, oh, I'm never going to get there. I've been doing this quite some time. And the no thought portion is not like on and on and on. And that's hard. I mean, that, I don't know that Buddha could even claim that. But the magic of it is when you catch yourself thinking, when you realize it. So there's so much misunderstanding around the very idea of meditation. So it doesn't land, it doesn't resonate. There's a whole science with this. You can go as deep into this as a person wants with guys like Walter Russell. Scripture in the Bible, Jesus told his disciples, I can't remember, you could search this and find it. He told his disciples, don't call me good. Only the Father is good. Don't call me good, for only the Father is good. Separates, that's a deep toroidal field allegory there, where we're talking magnetic versus electrical, and meditation is magnetic. It's the magnetic side. You can if you're into folks that are into research, Walter Russell. I don't know that there's a better one you can go down that with. He spelled out that
like
the science.
How Dr. Joe Dispenza breaks down the science behind meditation and the physiology behind it as well. Keith is actually going to do the science behind meditation.
I saw that his name was, I was scrolling and I saw you posted something. So that's really good.
Next week. So, cause he's all into the science part and,
so I was too. That helped me a lot. Once, for a lot of people, once you don't have to put as much science as I do, or, I think people think they have to become so deep in it, but once you put some science behind it, your willingness increases. Yeah. It steps you closer to wanting to do it.
Yeah, and it makes it more. Why you're doing it, you're like, why? No. Why am I going to do it? I don't know. I don't get it. No. Yeah. And even him, like, he was like, I get it. You keep, I get it, because how could he not get it? Like, it's my husband. Everything I say is meditation. So he has to get it. But his left brain's like, I need to really truly dissect this on a scientific, and now when I say things, he totally gets it. And so now he wants to, because again, that desire has been born within him to want to do that because he knows why.
Right. Yeah. And the deeper that, or the higher that the human transcends duality, the more those perennial sciences are going to make sense.
Yes.
The science of antiquity is transcendental, or to kind of cheapen it a little, spiritual. Yeah. I like transcendental. And meditation. So, how much of quantum physics or quantum knowledge today is showing that we can affect our DNA through consciousness. Crazy idea. That may be too scientific for some, but when you start losing those chains, those weights, and they literally change your physiology. You look at people that are just, their face wears it, or their body wears it, or whatever, and all that. That's a physical representation of that quantum level right there. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, you can see that with stress. It becomes such a burden, but we carry this.
Yeah, and you could see it physically. Like the blueprint is their emotions and their thoughts. And so by looking at the physical, it's like, oh, I see the blueprint. Like I see where it's coming from or where it's starting from.
Yep. Yeah. Meditation, folks, that you can't, right? You cannot pick. I don't think there's been any anybody that could get to a higher consciousness and say I didn't think meditation was worth it, or I did it without meditation. I'm not sure you can find that anywhere.
This is the simplest thing ever. Look, just so you know how you could sit here and go and you're waiting on the time to change and it's 8 what mine says 8:14.
Yep, 8:14.
And so I'm sitting here at 8:14. I'm waiting for 8:15. I'm waiting for 8:15. Let's wait for 8:15. And that 1 minute is like the longest minute ever when you're specifically waiting for the time to change. Look, it's still 8:14. Like when you sit there and you think about it, because I was looking at the numbers, it was about to change. Yeah, still 8:14. And you stare and you're just waiting for it. Do you realize how much time you have? That 1 minute is
right.
Is 8:15 now. Like that was a long time to and we were talking, but if you just sit there and observe that 1 minute, that's the same thing as like meditation. You're just observing your thoughts in that time.
Yeah, it's well, time it adds new meaning to time as an illusion.
Right.
It slows life down even when it isn't slowing down. It's all the esoteric occult knowledge wrapped into that present moment, the now moment. If we take the K off of, or if we take K off of no, we have now. Mm-hmm. And so the pain that you see in duality playing out today is thinking mode, opinion mode. Mm-hmm. My views are better than your views. And I really want to be clear too. This doesn't mean you don't have views. This doesn't mean you don't have things you hold dear, but it's the way that we treat it that really creates that frequency where
the attachment to it, I think.
That's it. That's what I was looking for. There you go. That's exactly what I was looking for. The attachment to it is very key. That's exactly what.
The more you detach from any belief or thought, the more transcendental, because then the more you are allowing for the expansion of consciousness, which allows everything and more than what we can even see, right? So if we block it, like we can't grow, we're attached to this one thing, and it's the detachment that allows us to float into everything.
No, that was exactly the attachment, which is a mechanism of the ego. If we build an identity on something, a religion, a political view, all of that, how much harder is it to listen to anything different, right? That anything different could be the most profound wisdom of all days, right? But you can't get yourself to even listen to it because it's hitting the ego. And here we are, we're watching this in atomic nuclear level play out.
Very much. With our family members.
It plays into everything. It plays into the most immediate relationships all the way into the biggest outward worldviews. From that close to that far, it plays that much in our marriages. There's so much power in the now present moment. I didn't realize how poorly I hear, how poorly I listen, how poorly I hear. Like my hearing was affected until I realized there's a present moment, my hearing's messed up. I don't hear correctly, right? And so slowing that down, that was something this year that I really, or last year, I should say, 2021.
Yeah.
That was an evolution of thought and emotion. I had to really be conscious of being present with engagements with others. And there were times where I had huge epiphanies with that. I was like, oh my gosh, it completely shifted the way I acted in that moment, and for the better.
Because it had purpose and an intention behind it.
Yep.
Right? Where like we're mindlessly just there, blah, 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 blah. But like if you really step back and look at it from a higher perspective, you're like, we are here for a reason. This is playing out for a reason. So this person is here for a reason talking to me. And maybe they have something that I really need to listen to take on for whatever, or maybe you're teaching them something, or maybe it's mutual. But if we truly sat there in the now and we're like that's a signpost. That's like a moment, a memory, something. It's a huge piece of the puzzle. But if we're just mindlessly like crossing it, then we miss out on whatever it is that we're supposed to get from it.
Everything's our teacher.
Right.
If we're not present, we're going to miss the lesson. I've noticed this with some very hardcore views today that are opposing to certain sides. When I've allowed myself to just be present with that a little bit, I learned. Didn't mean I completely took what I felt and went and threw it away, but I picked up on things that I never otherwise would have picked up on. Never would have otherwise picked up on.
That's the part that I'm talking about, is being open to being open.
Right.
As in always being able to adapt in case there's something that if the wind blew this way, adapt.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
like
way. Right.
Right. Because if you sit there with resistance, like I was talking to my dad about, this is a while ago, November, October, I don't know, about a subject, and he was like, nope, I don't care what you say, I will never ever ever look at the other side of the coin. And that stubbornness, I'm like, I think what bothered me was the stubbornness, because I thought he was very open-minded, and I was like, okay, like if you don't even want to look at the other side, how do you even know that? How do you know what I'm saying? How do you know that I'm wrong? How do you know that I'm right? How do you know anything? Right. So I let it go, and I haven't talked to him since, but it's been like I'm so willing to open my mind to see, to learn, to just what is on the other side? What can I learn from that? Nothing. Okay, great. But at least I looked, right? I'm so much like that when others are so unwilling to look, I'm like, they don't want to shatter their paradigm. They don't want to shatter their identity, because then if they realize that, hey, there was a possibility they were wrong, well, then their entire life would have been an illusion, which is what everybody's life is, because we're all not showing, we're not seeing all sides of the story. But it's hard. And when you see that somebody has that really strongly, it's kind of like, okay, let me just back up a little bit then, because there's nothing I can say or do. Like, you're going to need some time on your own to really figure yourself out there. But
that's where what you just illustrated is a mind-based reality, where I've run into this, another topic that gets this effect is talking about the home we live in.
That's what we were talking about, actually.
Oh,
That's
okay,
exactly what it was about. And he was like,
Yeah.
no, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not even listening. You don't even want to hear what I have to say.
I know. It's funny. It was the same thing. I was thinking about a different topic, it's funny.
Was that one.
we have to use caricatures and gestures to avoid censorship. So we have to dance around every topic. We can't just say it. This cosmic egg.
Yes.
I think I got a picture in here, that's another one too.
The cosmic egg.
You bring up that and you go, well, let's look at how many
and then
cultures
here's the funny part. Like weeks later, he has a post saying something about the firmament, and I'm going, you can say that, but you're going to disregard what I say. But then if I ask you where the firmament is, do you have an answer?
I know. Firmament is just one example of a lot of examples that illustrate the same thing. So it's not unique to that book. We should tell people something that should spark intrigue. I like what another thing to back up what you were just saying, being quest eye on. I like that. Quest eye on. The depth and the ability for us to ask questions hinges on fear. If we're afraid, we won't ask. In that mind-based reality, that quest becomes very limited. And you never know how far you can take that quest if you're not in the present moment. And so I hope that resonates with a few people, because that's a deep one, or at least I'd like to think it is. But the more you become present, the more penetrating those questions can be and get you way further. It's a tough one. It's a level of self-mastery that is ever, it's evolving, obviously, but to aspire to, because you never know how. Something that's hit me just recently more so than ever, and you hear this a lot, is that reality is holographic.
And
have
you read the Holographic Universe?
No, I have not. No, just the holographic nature of reality, and that open-mindedness and that ability to, back to that quest eye on, the ability to see it deeper and deeper and deeper hinges totally on that.
I love that quest that I'm, because I question everything. I question myself. I question, like, I have a Gemini moon, and I'm constantly questioning myself. Oh yeah, what about you? And so, like, the quest that I'm on is like my life story. Like, I am on a quest. So to me, it's like, the more I question, yes, it opens up more things, but how boring if you didn't question anything.
I know. There'd be no counter movement to anything if there was no question. There'd be no such thing as a counter movement to anything. There's no truth. I think it was scary person alert, Blavatsky, that coined "there's only truth." And the more that time goes on, and the more, self-awareness and self realization, there's only truth. And without being able to question our own delusions, right? Isn't that the saying of the philosopher, who can question their own delusions is a philosopher? Yes, you can't arrive at that. Addicts, for a large part of being an addict, think they're right. They think that they're okay. And then one day they end up in an ER, and life brought that truth right to the forefront. Or health matters, where eating bacon and cheese and things, that diet, and then one day we have a heart attack.
Yeah.
you know, that fabric, that veil of illusion gets pulled back just a little, just, you know, to say, whoa, maybe I'm not, I didn't.
And that example also comes from just what we've been taught, because we've been kind of taught by society in a way, by shows and by different things, that, well, the doctor will fix it, and the doctor will this, and the doctor will that, right? But like, without dissecting, are the doctors familiar with the treatments that they're giving them and the pharmaceutical connections that they have, or are they going to the root of it, right? Are they looking at health, right? And that's the part that has been kind of masked over with the whole industry, right? That whole, the doctor, the this, the that, even though they're like the number 3 cause of death statistically. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that people think they catch something. People think, oh, I just caught cancer, right? Like, they don't think that they are responsible for getting it. They, like, that's the last part of toxicity. But you've been putting toxins in you this whole time. Eventually you're not going to catch cancer. You're developing it because of the toxicity that you have. So it's more about, do we know as a society that we are responsible for everything? Our environment, like the environment that we put ourselves into, can either break us or make us. And so we have that choice. There is that will again. We can either decide to change things or not change things, you know? And you might tell somebody, hey, it's the food you're eating that's, and they'll be like, what? That doesn't make any sense, because society has conditioned us that that food is normal, and that the sickness is coming from just someone else.
La La Land.
Instead of from your own self. So that's a whole nother story, but I think that's, again, another part of conditioning. And if we're not allowing ourselves to decondition ourselves so that we can observe and we can really have realizations and epiphanies and revelations, we're not going to get there. We're not going to know, or anything's not, I mean, these things aren't going to be revealed to us.
The system is so craftily designed. They've removed personal responsibility, right? Everywhere. And then so when we do finally hit that wall, heart attack, cancer, we're just speaking to those. When the human finally hits that wall, then when we go for help, they've given us this perception where there's always a safety net. You can do whatever the heck you want with no consequences, but if something happens, there's a safety net. We're speaking to what we call medicine, pharma. You know, I'll just live however I want. There'll be a pill to save me. You know, pill fix me. Just turn on TV and there'll be a pill to save me. You know, this is got rid of TV a long time ago, but there's 900 commercials at any given day for psoriasis. Is anyone asking where that comes from? It's not hereditary. It's not the byproduct of, I got it from my grandfather. He had it.
Kids, when we've been jabbed from kids with all these toxins, and then they've created all these allergies and all these, now it's like, go to your eczema expert. Like, now there's experts for it. Now all of a sudden, in the last 20 years, from the time I was growing up to now, there's a certain expert for every different type of thing that people have because of the stuff they've been taking.
Yeah, toenail fungus, etc. I mean, they got everything. And you know, back to that earth. You know, this firmament is a free will zone. You know, not to get off the subject, but maybe get off the subject. If what we're in is a hermetically sealed case, there's laws that apply there that would be important to know. And, you know, if we're withheld those rules, those principles, those laws,
universal laws,
universal laws, you know, we're given a fabrication, we're given a very dumbed down version of it. to know those are kind of empowering, you know,
Yeah.
you know, but there's consequences, and Earth is a free will zone. So there's consequences to every choice. And they've taken those consequences and given, that's where the safety net comes in, you know.
So you can depend on them, so that you can
you,
run to them so they can make more decisions, because you're not able to make a decision because you're not capable.
mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like,
Yep.
you can't think straight, so let us think for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have this degree on the wall. Did you not see that? I paid a lot of money
Doctor
for it.
of Philosophy, Ph.D.
I
Like, I have it right
I
here.
yeah. You see, I went to school for this. You can't question this, you know. You're not allowed to question it. But it's
Funny.
but back to that hitting a wall, where science is hitting a wall, medicine is hitting a wall. So many walls being hit, they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to go. I mean, this cartoon that we've been living in, where these sanctimonious, righteous leaders are there to help you. I swear to God, you could get better advice from the Roadrunner, you know, from Road, uh, yeah, the Roadrunner cartoon. Sorry, I'm having a, you know, Bugs Bunny. We could watch Bugs Bunny and you know, get better advice than what we're getting today. Which begs the question: are they trying to wake us up? Because they're sure doing a good job of it. That's when the duality starts to shift, where you're like, wait, are they trying to wake us up?
Well, and
Because it
that's
sure
where I
seems like
look
they
at
are.
it like a whole script. Like, we're all just scripted, this is a story. We are playing our roles. We all, did our contracts before coming into this physical realm, etc. And they're just playing their roles, and their role is to do what they do so that they can wake us up. And like, in the bigger
Mm-hmm.
scheme of things, it's so hard for people to see the bigger picture. Like, if they were to step outside their body and just really see things for what they were.
Yeah.
But most people are just
Well,
still
here,
here.
the whole woke, you know, there's kind of two wokes. There's the systems woke that they're assigning to things, and then there's the other side's
The
awakened.
enlightenment woke.
The enlighten, you know, if you can't see the beauty in this time,
You're not
then
woke.
that, yeah, you're kind of not woke. I'm gonna crack the whip on that one
Yeah, it's true.
with cert. You're not really woke, because there is a ton of beauty, and so that might be the takeaway. If everything looks so dark, it's trapped in that duality, that mind-based reality duality, where versus and I cannot do that. You cannot do that work for people. That has to be self-actualized. That has to, for the first time in known history, where all these walls that I was mentioning, we have to do the heavy lifting ourselves. You can't just go to a therapist and sit down and pay your $250 an hour and get fixed. You can't just run into the first church and sit there on Sundays and that's it. It's going to fix it for me. We have too much karmic debt.
And if we want to help others, it starts with helping ourselves. Like, you change yourself, you change the world.
Yep.
You change.
Yep.
It starts with, you want to see change in the world, start with you. If you are changing, you're going to inspire somebody else to want to change, and that causes a ripple effect. So it just starts with yourself, period. Like, and this year, especially, this being a year heavily on the twos, right? The energy of two, which is manifestation, the duality, etc. We have to really focus on what it is that we truly want. Look at our emotions, because we will manifest what we want or don't want if we're not in control of or aware of what it is, right? Like, we have to be really aware of what we're thinking, or it's going to manifest very easily into our reality. So it's like, what are you focusing on? And are we trying to transcend this duality to be whole, to be complete, to feel at peace and calm, and know that you can easily step into the little black hole or step into the little white hole, and regardless, it's going to come back around, like the whole toroidal field, right? Like, it's just in and out, but we're here, we're flowing, we're here. It's life, it's energy, and we're observing both sides of the coin.
Yep. It's, yeah, if you can't see the beauty in it in this time, it's amazing on so many levels. And it's incredible to witness that it's a renaissance. It's an absolute renaissance. I don't know what history I know what our history will write, but I don't know what the official history will write
Right.
as how wonderful of a time it is. And you know, my to help others, you're right. It begins within. And here's the other beauty. That's a hermetic axiom, as within, so without, is it starts to manifest right in the home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, changing the world's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that idea, but we don't realize it happens right in our own home. And, you know, as it grows in the home, it'll grow outside the home. You know, we will leave our home and we'll go out, and then it'll go with it. And so, you know, to crack this etheric stronghold that we have going on here, and that's a whole nother podcast or live cast, but it's as simple as the individual, as the microcosm, the individual. When we change, everything around us changes. Yep. So,
well, I think that's great to leave off on a good note of really just self-realization and what this year's energies are going to help us do. Yeah, I think we should just really take a break and look at ourselves and, you know, have a good day. Like, start there. Having a good day. It's not about having a good year. It's about having a good day. And if you just repeat that 365 times, you're good.
Yep. Yeah. Choices. Choose to have a good day.
Exactly.
We live in a free will zone. So
it's one day repeating over and over. So
Yep. So we're good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Will be having you again, because I mean, we always have these amazing conversations that lead into really, like, they're deep, right? It's not something that most people are going to click on and go, oh yeah, let me watch this because whatever. It's people who really, really, truly want to level up, want to understand, and those that are watching are going to resonate. So thank you so much for watching, and you know, hope that anything that we said resonates, and leave a comment, you know, if it did. So
keep digging around. You'll find something that resonates. You'll find something. You'll get somewhere where something resonates, and you can get a foothold on understanding the deeper things in life, the you know, that inward journey. That's how I did it. You know, it took a little while, but it took a lot of will. It took a lot of will. I couldn't just, you know, sit down and go, well, I have 5 minutes. Let's learn about the eternal side of the universe in 5 minutes.
Do it. Let's get this thick book. Like, that book is really hard to read because it's every sentence is so deep. You have to, like, digest it.
I got them all, Joanna. I'm into the old guys. And here's a book for folks. I mean, this is a good one. The Light of Egypt. That, you know, what's a good book to start? I've had to reread a lot of this. These aren't like, you know, fictional books that you read from beginning to end. Sometimes I read here, sometimes I read there, sometimes I put it down. You know, these are heavy duty info that, you know, can be reread many times. So don't get, you know, people can get scared of it. It's too heavy. And some of it is. I see a lot of comments on certain authors of the past, and it's like, I don't even, well, put it on the shelf for a little while. You know, put it, you own it now. Yeah. You'll get there. You'll get something. I mean, I remember the first time I listened to Manly P. Hall, I was like, that guy's like chicken noodle soup for the occult soul, you know? But the first time I listened to him, I was like, this isn't even doing it. I was like, this sounds like, and then fast forward, I'm like, whoa,
Yeah, that's how
yeah,
you
I
know,
need this. It's funny. I know. And then there's another guy or girl or whoever that comes along. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks for having me. And good luck this year. I love seeing what you're doing.
Thank you.
That the virtual element is so accessible, so easy for people to, that aren't, that need that help, where they're not total in a commitment and devotion to self-mastery, where they're going to move everything out of the way to get time. You've made it easier for them. There's no freaking excuses.
There is no excuse.
I mean, I don't know where I'm going to get any of this from. Oh wait, you put so much stuff out there. You put so much free stuff out there.
Yeah.
Even the stuff that you don't. It's like, I mean, how much crap do we buy every day?
Right. Yeah.
So
the ones that are truly there are those that are truly wanting to do the work. And I have some that already started on their self-mastery program, and they're super excited. It's like they say that, oh, it's like going back to school, and
it is,
but it's school for getting to know themselves. It's know thyself, right? And so
know thyself.
she's like, is there a certain time frame or whatever? I'm like, look, this is at your own pace, but we're here.
Yeah.
If you need anything, like, we're here, all of us.
Yep.
So I think it's awesome. I think that once people start truly waking up and having those realizations, they're going to want to, that desire is going to grow in them to want to do that and to level up. So I'll just be here waiting.
Yeah. Well, that's what our duty is to help not push people's face in the mud, but lift them up, especially on we resonate with a certain side generally, and there's a lot of pushing faces in the mud, and that helps no one. That helps nothing. That just builds the construct of where we're at.
Yeah. We're trying to overcome that.
Yeah. Did that. Done there, did that.
Yes,
done there, did that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And we'll see you guys at some other time. And I will have you here at another time, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful year. Yeah.
Take care. And I'll be keeping an eye on stuff. It's good stuff. So all right. Yep.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.